Well, not only are we trying to stay safe on the web, but also in our day-to-day lives, we're trying to protect our little ones from some of the harsh realities of the pandemic. They can be a difficult talk to have with your kids, but it's important to address the worries of our children when it comes to the unknowns of the coronavirus. Counseling psychologist Dr. Jameca Woody-Cooper joined me recently where she shared how to facilitate those conversations and also offered continuing support. Take a look. Where should parents begin when talking with their children about the pandemic?
Well, it really depends on the age of the child. But the first thing that I would suggest for parents is that you get a foundation for how much your child knows already. So you can ask questions about what do you know about this? What have you learned? What have you seen on TV? What are your friends talking about? To get a really good idea of what they know already, because chances are you're going to have to go in and clarify information. There's probably a lot of misinformation. So I would say the first step is going to always be to find out what they know first.
Find out what they know first. You also mentioned age. Is there a trick to maybe tackling this with maybe a teenager or a tween versus a toddler or a younger individual?
Yes, it's very different. When you're a parent, you have children. What a 5-year-old understands is very different from what a 15-year-old understands. I have 2 teenagers, but they're different age teenagers, so they understand things differently. So if you were tailoring your message and you were talking to a child, you would start with the basics. Like, what do you know? What do you think is bad about this? Are you afraid of this? You would talk about emotions, things they can relate to. Are they mad, sad, happy, glad, afraid? And if so, about what? So you would tailor that more about their emotions. Now, as you get older, you're going to bring in more, of course, real life information, science. If you're talking to a middle schooler, you would talk about science. They're in biology. They learn science. They probably at that point know something about cells and viruses and bacteria and transmission. And of course, if you're talking to a teenager, like a high schooler, or beyond, then you're going to just talk the same way you would with most adults, because at that point, they really have a better understanding of the world and how it works and exposure and risk. So then you can talk to them about higher level messages. But if you're starting at a younger age, definitely stick to the basics like feelings and am I going to get sick? Am I going to die if you're 5 versus if you're a teenager? Like, what does this mean for my life, really? It's probably what a teenager is most concerned with.
Anxiety doesn't have an age discrimination. You could have a toddler who's experiencing anxiety all the way up to like us adults. We are definitely experiencing anxiety with the pandemic. What are some tips for managing anxiety within children?
The first thing I would do is what I always tell parents to do, which is watch your child, watch them, see what's normal. Are they sleeping more? Are they sleeping less? Are they eating more? Are they more irritable? Or are they talking more or less? Appetite, those type of things. Those things give you clues as to what's really going on with them. Because if you're dealing with teenagers, especially, they don't always tell you what's on their mind. As a matter of fact, sometimes they don't say much of anything. So you have to find out and figure it out and kind of act like a detective. So finally, if you don't think that you can tackle it and help your child with those symptoms or what you think might be going on, bring in a third party, bring in someone that can help, whether that's a counselor, psychologist, professional. Sometimes school counselors can make really good connections with children and really get them to open up. If we had time, I go through a long list of all the things you could do, but art could also be a way that you could deal with anxiety in children.